wants to know, when you first get to heaven, where's the first place that you go? So does everyone, when everyone goes to heaven, do they all end up being in the same place when they come, or?
Yes. Everybody goes to the same place when you know. If you're taking on, if they're going to take you to get a glimpse, that's different. They could take you anywhere. Like I've been taken so many places. I lost count, not where I was at, but stopped counting after 1,000 visits. And they were just like, I'd be here, then I'd be somewhere in heaven. But when you're going to leave, the proper term, by the way, is not, you weren't lost. Nobody lost you. They lost you in their life, but you moved. When you die, you move to heaven. Your spiritual body moves to heaven, to heaven mentioned. Everybody must arrive at the same place. There's a place you embark or disembark. That's the proper word. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There is, and it's not at the gates. It's a little ways before the gates. That's like not a receiving station. It's the most beautiful, amazing, because things are coming out of the city of God all over the place. You're seeing all kinds of things take place in the celestial realm, which is the sky of heaven. And the streets of gold are kind of right there. The river is there. The river of life is there. Most people get out of whatever they're coming in. It could be anything. They have like glorified elevators that just go zip you up. They have all types of ships that they can take you in. You can go in a chariot, all kinds of ways you get there. But once you get there and you get out, it's always the same place if you're going there to live. You always do. Off to the left will be the welcome center, where people who arrived are in shock that they're having fun, that they're dancing, that they're laughing. They didn't think that would happen. They thought it's only solemn. You have to be holy, not a solemn. It's the condition of your heart, right? That it's pure. And so, no, there's people dancing in the streets. They're celebrating. They're there. Your family members are welcoming you. Your pets are welcoming you. It's like one of the loudest places ever. And people jump into the river of life. And they begin to throw the river on them. And every time there's a splash, it's like the life of God, the life of God. Wow. And people are just running all over the place. It's so beautiful. The flowers are singing to you. I mean, there's all kinds of things, like I said, and there's people riding on all kinds of different creatures like unicorns and stuff. And people are coming to meet their families. It is a place of huge celebration. Some people get out and drop on their face and kiss the ground of heaven.
They're happy they made it.
They actually say, I made it. They actually say, I made it. And then they'll get up and they'll go, oh my gosh, I didn't know there'd be singing. I didn't know there'd be music. And then the people will come from the welcome center. It's going to be okay. You really are in heaven. Come on. We will help show you exactly what this is. And you go into the welcome center and you see all kinds of things. It's not like a movie or anything you watch. It's like literally places that come in and out of the welcome center. You can see them and you go, oh my gosh, this place is here. This place is here. We get to do this here. And when they come out, they're not the same person. But these are the people who thought no music, no life, no laughing whatsoever. And they show up in heaven. They're like, what? And then they begin to laugh at themselves or being narrow-minded on the earth. They're like, why would they think God would be boring? Why? Because we're his children. He's our father. And as the Father would say to me, I'd be in trouble if I didn't have fun, exciting things to do here in heaven. So you see this beautiful glorious, you see the walls a little ways off, you see the gates with Abraham waiting to welcome you. And then Jesus will come and escort you to the throne room. You are walked up the steps of the throne by Christ to be given back to the Father. This is what every single person experiences. They probably maybe not process it differently because it is like that. It's just the way they get undone. They get overwhelmed. The joy begins, the joy and the love of God begins to invade you. So there is this, everyone goes to the same place when you're moving there to live. That's when you're moving home.
So the people that work at the Welcome Center, is it angels or is it people who now live in heaven and that was their heart to like work at a welcome?
The answer is going to show you the humor of God, the humor. There was a family in this city in Jacksonville that had one of the biggest funeral home operations. The kindest. I think this man had 7 sons. They all had dark hair. They were real like tan, where they had kind of pale skin, white skin. But the greatest love and compassion. And they moved here way back in the days when things were starting to get settled here. And he came, the father of all these sons, the Hardage family. And you can look it up, the amazing people. I think the last one just went to heaven. But the Hardage family, they had 7 sons, and they all were strong believers, and they're all in heaven operating the Welcome Center. And the way I know that is, I knew there was a Welcome Center, but one of the oldest ones was still alive. Richard, I knew him well. He used to go to our church years ago, and such compassion. And God had me write a word for him about his future in heaven, and I had to put it in handwrite it in gold ink on a scroll. And the Father said, because of his integrity, because of the excellence he lived his life in, you will give him this word in excellence. And so I went over to the funeral home where he was in charge of. One of them, we had many here, and he was on the sidewalk. He was kind of aged, but he knew who I was. And I said, Richard, I have a word from God for you. He started to weep. He said, never in all my life of loving for God and doing stuff for God, I never had a prophet come and give me a word. And he said, I'm ready to receive it. And so he closed his eyes and stood on the sidewalk with people walking past us. And I opened this scroll and began to read what God had to say about him and his family. And because of his integrity and the love of God, he said, you have lived the life I sent you to live. And you have great reward waiting for you in heaven. I have chosen you and your family to operate the Welcome Center in heaven. He said, you used to get them when they were going to heaven, and now you will get them when they're coming to heaven. So you'll get them going and coming. This is just part of the Father's humor. But Richard was just weeping on the sidewalk. He was so undone. And he said, you have such love. I put that love gift in you, and you used it every day of your life. And because you honored me with your life, I'm now honoring you with this word. And he knew what he'd be doing, as long as, before the new earth and everything. He knew what he'd be going home to. He knew his brothers were waiting. There was even some things that his brothers wanted to say to him in this word. It was very powerful, very beautiful. He was undone. So the Hardage family from this city operate Heaven's Welcome Center. And that same compassion comes out of them in heaven. People going, am I in heaven? Why are people having fun? Why is all these colors? Why are this fun? What is this fun doing here? And they'll come and go, it's going to be okay. Come on. We'll show you what this is all about.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, that's beautiful.